Hey everybody, just checking in with each of you again. Again, I still miss you, and I can't wait until we can sit up front of the church and have our little stories and our time of talking about God and the Bible together. Together. In the meantime, I want to share a story and some conversation with you. Last week, we talked about being salt of the earth, and this week, we're going to talk about gold. In particular, we're going to share what it is that gold is. I'm going to start by reading a very short story. I'll probably read several stories, and that's okay. All of it's to help us come to a better understanding of what gold is and what it can buy and what it can't buy. So, here's the story. Gold buys everything. The speaker was one of the village wise men. The place where he was speaking was the grocery store, and the grocer, who was old and stooped over, looked over the top of his spectacles and said, with a smile, "Yes, gold buys everything, except three things: health, happiness, and heaven." I wonder if he was right. I mean, gold has played an important part of human history. In fact, the Bible first starts making mention of gold in Genesis chapter 2, and ever since then, human beings have been looking for gold anywhere and everywhere they can. And the reason they look for it is because we as human beings think that it is very precious. It is nice to look at, pleasing to the sight. It's shiny and it's durable. It doesn't rust, it doesn't corrode, it doesn't disappear over time. There's another story about how eager we can be to find gold. There were two German brothers that came to America in 1845. That's only a few years before this little thing that you see here. This is a gold dollar. This was minted in 1853. And these gentlemen came in 1845. One had a great deal of experience in making sauerkraut, and he bought a farm in California to raise cabbages. His younger brother stayed in New York and went to school to learn how to be a metallurgist. That's somebody who works with metal. Later, the younger brother went to California to visit his older brother. His older brother took him on an inspection and a tour of his farm. The younger brother was paying absolutely no attention to the cabbages that his brother was raising. Instead, he was interested in looking at the dirt and the soil and the rocks. And at one point, he pointed to some dull, yellowish, metal-looking objects on the ground and said to his brother, "Look, that's gold. You're growing cabbages on a gold mine." From that point on, thousands of people rushed to California. Some of you may have even learned about this in school, the California Gold Rush. It caused a great deal of excitement, and everyone who went thought they were going to get rich quick. Many failed, only a few succeeded. Why are people so anxious for gold? Why are they so interested in something like this? Well, gold buys everything, right? It buys food, it buys houses and cars and games and all kinds of stuff because we use gold for money. And we believe that if we have enough of it, it'll make us happy. There's another story from mythology about King Midas, who prayed to the gods of that time that he would be given the ability to have anything he touched turn to gold. And he believed that it would make him happy. And he woke up one morning able to do just exactly that. Whatever he touched turned to gold. He touched his bedstand, he touched his bed, he touched some dressers, and all of that stuff turned to gold. And he was excited because he was going to be really wealthy now as a king, and he would never have to worry about anything at all. And his favorite, well, I can't say favorite, his very well-loved daughter, little girl, comes running up to him. He was super excited, reached down and gave her a kiss, and guess what happened to his daughter? According to myth, she turned into a gold statue, solid gold. And I'm sure King Midas, with all the gold he had, wasn't nearly as happy as he thought. It had cost him his daughter. Grocer, in our first story, talked about how health was more valuable than gold. He talked about how heaven can't be bought with gold. Stories tell us that the streets of heaven are going to be paved with gold. And so, why would we want to be so interested in something that's pavement? It'd be used like blacktop. And as far as gold not being able to buy your health, well, I think that's true. Because the story I want us to think about can be found in Acts. Peter and John were on their way to the temple for prayer. At the same time, there was a crippled man who had been crippled from the time he was born. Every day he would come to the temple and be set down in front of the gate called Beautiful, and he would beg from people going to the temple. When he saw Peter and John enter the temple, he asked them for a handout, and Peter and John looked at him and said, "We have nothing to give you. I don't have a nickel to my name, but in the name of Jesus Christ, get up and walk." And instantly, his feet and ankles became firm, and he jumped to his feet and he walked. Walking back and forth in the temple, praising and dancing before God, everyone who had known him and had seen him begging at the gate were shocked. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. And the man threw his arms around Peter and John in thanksgiving. The man was asking for money. Peter and John said, "We don't have any money to give you. But what we do have is from Jesus. And in his name, here's your health." So every time you are so interested in money, I want you to remember money buys a lot. Most of the things that you will probably want in your life. But it cannot buy happiness, it cannot buy health, and it cannot get you into heaven. I miss you guys. See you again soon. Bye.